just talking to yourself? Yes, you were. I heard you. Maybe that was me. Have you ever been caught red-handed? Just talking to yourself in your own little world, not even paying attention to everybody around you. Well, that's happened to me. And my kids usually catch me in the middle of my task list. I'm thinking about what I've already done, thinking about what I need to do next, trying to find out if I've forgotten anything or if I've remembered everything. They act like I'm old for talking to myself, right? But really what it is that my environment is usually so stimulating, very active, lots of noise. So for me to focus on my next task, I have to go through my checklist. That's my conscious brain, conscious brain. That is the logical one, the one that helps us to make decisions, the one that helps us to set goals is our conscious brain. And it actually only represents 5 to 10% of our brain's abilities, our brain's capacity. The activity in our brain is only occupied 5 to 10% by our conscious brain. On the other hand, the subconscious brain, the one that's in charge of your emotions, the one that has you doing things without thinking. For example, I used to work night shift, right? And I would come home in the morning and my conscious brain would be like, all right, we got this. I'm going to turn the windows down so I can get this fresh airflow. I'm going to turn the radio up so I can occupy my brain. I can listen to music while I drive. No big deal, right? And then I would drive home. And I know this is very scary, but it is the truth. But I would get home. Sometimes I'd be like, I don't remember how I got here. I have no recollection of the drive home. That's because my subconscious brain took over. I went on autopilot and I ended up home. Thank God I was there safely. But what I'm saying is that the subconscious brain actually occupies the majority of your cognitive function. So that inner voice that you have, I like to think of it like your conscious brain and your subconscious brain talking to each other. Because again, how many times do you say, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, right? But then your subconscious brain, again, takes over and has you doing A, B, and C. The brain is a phenomenal organ. Like, I can't contain myself because it is just a magnificent creation. And in your brain, that's where your behaviors and your activities, your habits, that's where they're going to come from. And all of those decisions that you make now lead up to big changes down the road. So that's why I always talk about being super intentional. It's about taking those small steps daily to create a lasting positive impact. And again, it's a decision to make the next right step for you. I'll give you an example. I love to run. And I love to run outside in the neighborhood. I like to explore outdoors. And I recently stopped running with headphones. Now, I used to listen to like pump it up music, like, and I would just be running. It is a motivation, right? And it just keep me going. And so you see people in the gym, they get their earphones in, and they're just zoned out in the music, letting their subconscious mind take over. And that's when you do the mind over matter thing, and you're just letting your body work for you. You kind of go into autopilot mentally. That's your subconscious brain. So athletes are familiar with this concept. Some people call it like the zone, right? So I love the power of the mind when we get still, allow ourselves time to train our minds and to train our mind-body alignment, you can start gaining more control over the relationship that you have with your inner voice. Isn't that crazy? If you just took a moment to be still, initially, there's probably going to be a lot of mental chatter. And that's what was happening with me when I was running. So I stopped listening to music when I ran. And at first, my mind would just be all over the place. A lot of times, it was wanting to create negative emotions where it's like I'm like trying to work out like concerns that I have, or maybe things that I'm worried about, or something's heavy on my heart. That's the thing that's most prevalent on my mind. So it'll be a lot of mental chatter all over the place. And then once I noticed that this was like ruining my vibe on my run, I was like, oh, stop. We're not doing all that right now. This run is about you, baby. Look at the birds. Look at the sky. Look at the trees, the beautiful flowers. You know what I mean? Like, there's a beauty all around you. So just cut with the nonsense, right? And let's focus on some priorities here right now. Because the truth is, on my run, am I really going to be able to, do any of the tasks that I'm thinking about? No. On my run, I practice being present in the moment, connecting my mind and my body. And after that mental chatter goes away, and you start to observe where you're at, it makes life a little bit lighter. It makes things a little bit easier. All of a sudden, things start shifting in your perspective or perception. When you can find a way to still your mind and train your mind for calmness, that's where you start doing the work, right? That's where you start saying, okay, now that I've observed things that are really important, I want to focus on the things that make me happy. What are the things that feed my soul? What are the things that make me feel good? The things that give me energy, things that restore joy. Let's focus on those things. That's how you train your brain for stillness. If you're not a runner, there's lots of other ways to do this. Meditation would be one. That's another one of my favorites. I love to spend time in prayer. And again, that's where I am flooding my mind with positive words full of love and hope and light. I try to do this every day. Sometimes on the days that I have more time, I'll make notes for myself for later. And then on the days that I don't have a lot of time to meditate or spend in prayer, I'll just refer back to one of my little index cards. I'll stick them in my pocket, just a little something to carry me on. So I hope that helps you. Take care.